The Economic Cycle and the Great Depression. The economic cycle is a natural rising and falling of the economy between points of growth and recession. In order to measure when the economic cycle is rising or falling, GDP is used. GDP, gross domestic product, is a measure of all of a country's goods and services sold in a single year. The state of GDP is a good reflection of how the country's economy is doing. There are two main events which define the economic cycle: recession and growth. A recession is when a country's GDP falls for 2 straight quarters, which is 6 months. Growth occurs when a country's GDP is rising. On October 24, 1929, the United States stock market crashed. During the previous decade of the 1920s, the stock market had been experiencing a boom, which is when the GDP is rising faster than the national trend. The market was steadily growing, fueled by eager investors, trading, and the Federal Reserve. The labor force was flourishing, and many companies were earning record profits. As the 1930s drew nearer, expectations were high for further growth, assumptions which were based on recent success. Earnings and wages continuously rose while 1 in 10 Americans was investing in the stock market, building a bubble of false hope until it was not possible to support any further expansion. Finally, the stock market crashed, causing the national GDP to fall to almost half of its position the previous year. The economy plummeted, and about 13 million people lost their jobs. The Great Depression and the buildup which happened before were part of the economic cycle, as there was a large period of growth followed by an even larger period of recession. This cycle occurs constantly today, but in much smaller increments than what happened in 1929. Another more defined example of the economic cycle is the housing crash in 2007, which has sometimes been called the greatest crash since the Great Depression. The market had been steadily rising, pushed on by the amount of people buying and selling real estate. It rose until it was not possible to support further growth, and the real estate market crashed.